Hello, everyone. My name is Dan the Tutor. Thank you all for joining me today. I am joined by Alyssa MacLeod. Is that how you
McLeod.
pronounce it?
That's enough. McLeod.
I'm joined today by Alyssa MacLeod. I'm gonna edit this so I can just take out the
Okay.
me. It'll seem like I got it right on my first try. So she is a real estate agent, and she went with me to Springford High School, class of 2015. And now we're both graduated. We're both doing our thing. And I had a few questions for her since I know zero people in the real estate market, and I know it is exploding right now. So welcome, Alyssa.
How are you?
I'm doing great. First question I had: what have you been up to since high school?
I didn't go to college. College was not for me. School was not for me. I've been working different jobs, Wawa, Oaks Pizzeria, anything with customer service. I like making people happy. And so then I had two kids. They are 2.5, Jeremiah, and 7 months, Ezra. So I decided it was time for me to find a career. And that's how I jumped into real estate.
Awesome. And why'd you choose real estate?
It was something that you constantly get to see people be happy. You constantly get to see people sell their house for whatever price and move on bigger or downsize. First time buyers, buyers who, have been looking forever, especially in this market. So
Hmm.
I love making people happy, and that's just where my heart is.
Yeah, that's awesome. How about did you have any connections? Like, how did you get into the real estate market, like specifically?
So I was taking the classes slowly,
Yeah.
and then I had my son in September. And so I saw somebody else we went to school with. She graduated, I think, a year or two below us, Gabby Bagnosi. She posted on Facebook that she was going to be joining Therese Brittingham and Tom McCouch team at Keller Williams. So I messaged her and ended up getting in touch with Therese. We had a meeting and she said, finish the classes and come work for me.
Yeah,
And so I hustled through the classes, got them done, and passed the test by the end of the year.
that's awesome. How about did you feel like I feel like one thing that's like almost stereotypical is you learn nothing of practical use in school, whether it be school or college.
Yeah, well, math definitely plays a huge part in real estate.
Yeah.
It's a numbers game. You need to know where to list the house so you're, attracting buyers, but you're doing the best for your seller. There's a lot of math when it comes to taxes and things like that that have to be paid up front or later in the process. So math definitely helps. But other and English, because you're writing a lot of offers, and it
Is it
is,
like technical writing or is it like book report writing?
well, the writing's already done for you.
Hmm.
You fill in the blanks kind of thing, but you have to be able to understand what's being said.
Right.
So it was written by lawyers.
Yeah. So
So
how much legal jargon do you know then, especially with housing?
I'm still learning it, but a lot.
Yeah.
There's definitely different ways, there's a lot of legal to it. You have to word things a certain way and make sure that you cover all your bases. So I'm still learning, but
Yeah.
it's a lot.
And then also kind of like the follow-up question, like it sounds like you took a course or at least you have to pass a class to get a real estate license or at least some kind of test.
There's 75 hours, sorry, 75 hours of classwork that you have to do.
Hmm.
So because of COVID, I did the online one, but
Yeah.
I also prefer online. You go at your own pace. So I started off slow, like I said, but then I just knocked it out. There's a test after each section, but then there's two major tests, the state and then the national. And then you go and take the final exam, and I forget the exact statistic, but let's just say less than 50% of people pass on their first try.
Wow. Did you pass on your first try?
Of course I did. Yeah, I was half asleep. My kids kept me up all night the night before. I actually went in thinking I'm just going to see what this is about and I'll just reschedule it for another day. And when I got done, I thought I was seeing things when it said I passed. But I passed, so it was fun.
That's awesome. And then what about how much did you spend on like educating yourself down this road, like with the online course and getting your real estate license?
The online course wasn't that much. I think it was $150 just to do the course, but it's more once you get into the business, you start having to spend money. It's an expensive hobby or career to get into right off the bat. You have
Okay.
to spend marketing, marketing yourself out. I mean, if it was easy enough for everybody to just go out and do it, everybody would be doing it.
Right.
So you have to have money to market out to people and say, hey, I'm in real estate. Let me know what I can help you with. So the marketing part is a lot. I fortunately am on a team. A lot of that is covered in my team fees.
Yeah.
I got lucky there. I love my team. They're helpful and they definitely help with the money right now.
That's awesome. And then how about I just want to compare it to, like, for instance, college. You know what I mean? Like, college is like obviously a super high expense. I guess it's not a lot up front. It's definitely a lot more down the road.
It's debt.
Yeah.
College is debt. In my opinion, college equals debt. You're not paying thousands and thousands of dollars up front to go to college. You might have a scholarship, but you pay that at the end once
Yeah.
you get a real estate's not like that. You pay that couple $100s to get to do the test, to do the classes. It's not that much.
Yeah.
The money comes in spending with marketing and everything after the fact, but it still doesn't even compare.
Gotcha. And are you happy? Is there anything you would have done differently in terms of kind of like getting to where you're at in your career?
My career or my life, because if it were up to me, I'd go back to the end of high school and start my real estate career then.
Okay, that's pretty much the question. Was you would have gone like right into it?
I would have jumped right into it. I don't know why I didn't. I've been thinking about it for a while, but people kept telling me, oh, it's too hard, or oh, the classes are crazy, or, there was just a lot of people saying, oh, it's not worth it, don't do it. And now that I'm doing it and love it, I'm mad at myself for not doing it sooner, mad at
Yeah,
myself for listening to people. So I
that's awesome.
would have done it sooner.
And then how about for anyone else? Like, I'm sure there's a ton of people out there who aren't sure if they want to go to college or not. They're looking for a way to earn a source of income that's not just a job at Walmart or McDonald's. What how would you say that you got into real estate? Like from I mean, let me try and think of this question carefully. What advice would you give someone who's just thinking about getting into real estate?
Find a mentor. So Keller Williams, and I'm not promoting them, but I am.
Hmm.
They're amazing with helping people get into real estate. So basically, I had one or two people reach out to me. They wanted to know how to get started, things like that. I can walk you through how to get started on the classes. I can walk you through, helping you in the classes and studying. But Keller Williams takes it to a whole nother level. We have mentors that, like PC coaches is what they're called, that will help you through the classes. Like they do study buddy Saturdays and things like that. And then they help you transition. You know, they help you once you pass the test, they help you get onboarded and help you start your first couple of sales. So finding a mentor, somebody you can join and work with them through the first couple sales is going to be life changing, because if you try to do it on your own, you'll fail. It is not easy. You need that support.
Yeah, that's good advice. And then what about how do you know that real estate, like obviously it sounds like real estate's right for you. How would one figure out if real estate is right for them?
You have to love people and you have to be good at listening. If you want to do it for the money, you're in the wrong profession. I mean, look at me. I'm 7 months into it. I have not received a single paycheck yet, because of the fact that it's a lot of hard work up front and the reward is later. So if you think it's just, hey, I'm going to come in here, I'm going to sell a house and I'm going to have money, that's not really how it works. You put a lot of time, a lot of effort. I'm working 40 plus hours a week. Eventually the money will come, the reward will come. So if you're going to get into real estate, you need to do it because you love people. You want to see people happy. You want to work with others and be part of the community, not because you're here for a paycheck. Because if you do it for the paycheck, you won't last.
Yeah, I think that's really applicable to any profession. And I'm glad you said that because there's a lot of people I think that just think real estate, great way to make money. And I know for a fact, I don't know what the environment's really like. Tell me, what's like a typical day for you?
So right now, A typical day in the office or at home, depending on the day. In the office, I would get there 9, 10 o'clock in the morning. I am trying to prospect. I'm finding people who might be looking to list their house, especially right now. We're looking for sellers. I'm looking for houses for my buyers. I'm trying to figure out how else I want to market myself out there. Maybe I have a fundraiser that's ending this week. We were collecting duffel bags for foster kids because they take trash bags from house to house. So that's something, a lot of it is working with the community and just going. It's computer work, it's paperwork. Writing offers is usually on the weekends. That's a full day, and it doesn't stop when I get home. It's not 9 to 5. It's
Yeah.
not going to the office and come home at 5 o'clock, turn off your phone. I get texts and calls from agents and clients up until 10, 11, 12 o'clock at night. If I'm up, great. If not, they'll get a message in the morning. There is no typical day. Let's put it that way. There is no typical.
Gotcha.
It's whatever you're working through. So right now I have a couple buyers on my hand. They come down from New York to look at houses every Saturday. And it's a lot of work, but it's a lot of fun.
That sounds awesome. How about, it sounds, you said you started 6 or 7 months ago?
Yep, I started the December 23rd was when I passed my test.
Okay. And I'm guessing you probably made, like, you started to make this transition. I'm going to guess you probably committed to this decision around the time COVID started, if not, like, COVID was already in full effect. How
Yep.
much, how much did the pandemic kind of influence your decision, and how has it impacted it so far?
Well, I before COVID happened, about 4 months before that, I finally found a job that was paying me enough to like take care of my one child that I had at the time.
Hmm.
We were excited, it was good, and I lost it because of COVID.
Hmm.
So I was trying to figure out what I was going to do. And then, being pregnant and having another kid on the way, I was tired of doing jobs that were hourly, that were not making enough money. So I decided to switch my focus and figure out if I wanted to go back to school or what I wanted to do. And when I was searching, I did one of those tests online to see what I would be good at. When I was searching, real estate popped up. So I dove into it, figured out, do I like it? Do I not like it? So I started it in June, but didn't really dive into it until October, and then took off from there. So
Cool.
definitely COVID played a huge part in my decision.
Yeah, yeah. And then what about with like the pandemic in general? Has it influenced like the market in terms of, you said it's crazy. Is it crazy right now, do you think, because of the pandemic specifically? When like let's say the virus ends and like everyone becomes vaccinated, or at least enough of the population becomes vaccinated and life returns to normal, is the real estate market going to return back to quote unquote normal?
The real estate market is unpredictable. We don't know where it's going to go, but it did get affected by COVID. So you have to think all these people are home now, their kids are home, everybody's making home offices, everybody needs spots for their kids to do school. So a lot of people are upgrading their houses. So they're moving because they're realizing we don't have a spot for my daughter or my son or whoever to do schoolwork, to do housework, to do any work at all. So people are upgrading. Then you have people moving out of the city because of COVID. They think this is the opportune time to move. Not many people are. And that's where it started, and it just hasn't stopped.
Okay. And do you think it will calm down once, you might have answered this already, but how are you planning to like change your strategy at all when life returns to normal?
When it returns to normal, we'll see what the market does. I can't predict it. Maybe it will go start leveling out. I mean, inventory is starting to pick up just a little bit, but everybody could resell again. Life's back to normal. Maybe they don't need that huge house anymore. Maybe they want to downsize. I don't know,
Hmm.
but we'll play it by ear, and that's pretty much what real estate is, playing it by ear. There's no set in stone, this is how it's going to be. So
Yeah. How about more on your work? Would you consider yourself to be your own boss? Like, is it that kind of work?
we are considered to be our own boss. We work under a brokerage.
Hmm.
So I work work on Therese Brittingham and Tom McCouch team, but I work for myself. So I'm the one push. Yes, I have the team to push me to do my work, but I'm pushing myself to do the work. If
Yeah.
I don't do the work, I don't get paid.
And how do you like that? Like versus working for a traditional employer?
it it has its good days and its bads. I mean, some days I don't have a sitter, so I'm home with my kids and I might be more lazy when it comes to work. But then there's other days where I can work from 8 in the morning to 8 at night and just get as much done as possible. So I like being able to be flexible.
And what about how do you keep yourself on track? Because I imagine a lot of people out there who do have their own businesses, who do set their own hours, you can very easily fall into the trap of either becoming lazy or kind of putting work off. How do you keep yourself grounded?
Accountability partners. I have one on the team. We check in every Wednesday, and then I have a team lead. I check in every Friday. They definitely help because you know you're going to be checking in with them, so you know you have to come back with something. You can't just go up to them and say, "Hey, yeah, I did nothing this week." So the accountability partners are amazing. They help, make sure that I'm doing my work, but also, like I said, you get paid when the job's done. When somebody closes on a house, that's when you get paid. You don't get paid for, working at home. So for me, that's motivation for me is sitting here thinking, well, if I do 10 hours of work today, I might get a paycheck in a couple months.
And does that
So
scare you at all? Like, I feel like it would scare some people.
not really. I'm just looking forward to the reward, so it makes me work harder. It
Yeah,
doesn't really, it just makes me work harder.
cool. Is this something you see yourself doing for like a long period of time, or maybe even like a lifetime career?
Yes, I want this to be my lifetime career, especially because I see the way, like, my, not boss, but my broker, Therese, I see how she is with the community. She's amazing with them. She is grounded with them. Like, everybody knows who she is. We do Keller Williams as a whole does a lot for the community, so I can see myself staying here forever. And honestly, it's something that I can teach my kids along the way. I took my 2-year-old to a showing the other day. He was turning off the lights and closing the doors for us on our way out. So it's something that as he grows up, 3, 4, 5 years old, if he's coming with me to a showing here or there, he can start learning too. He can start learning the market, start learning how to, and if he's interested, then there you go.
Yeah, that sounds awesome. And it just sounds like great for just like gaining like practical work knowledge at like
Mhm.
such a young age. I think that's awesome.
And life knowledge too. I mean, we're, at least at our school, I don't know other people's school, but we weren't really taught a lot about how to, incorporate real life. I just feel like they didn't do as much of a job training us for real life, taxes with,
Yeah.
how to purchase a house. What do you need? People think all you need is a couple $1,000s and you can go purchase a house. That's not it. You
Yeah.
need credit. You need a little bit of a down payment depending on how the market swings,
Hmm.
and there's more to it. So I'd love to sit here and educate people, especially people our age, first time home buyers, on what the process is like, because I feel like we didn't get that.
Yeah. I think it'd be a great idea, honestly, to just make like a YouTube series or something, because like people just don't know. And I find for myself, like I put out some videos on like tutoring, and I know like it's not like I'm not getting a million views, but it's like just putting the information out there. It not just you're not just giving it out to the community of not just like an in-person community, but like the community of the world. It also kind of I feel like keeps yourself sharp, and you're kind of the best way to learn is to teach. I think is a good way of looking at
And that's actually a good idea. I'm gonna write that down because if I could
it.
do a YouTube series on first time home buying and the process, I think that would help a lot of people, especially our age, coming out of college or wherever they're at, looking at homes and trying to figure out can they afford one or what kind. So
Yeah. And what about in terms of marketing? I know I've been doing a lot of like just marketing research on my own, just kind of with my own tutoring company. What do you do right now to market?
so we have command. So that sends out emails for us. We can set it up on automated emails to our sphere, people we know, people who have given us their information to add. We use Facebook, Instagram. I use TikTok. Um,
People joke. I think TikTok's a great way to like. It's where
yeah,
the
I haven't gotten, a serious bite yet. I mean, I have 3,000 followers, but not a serious bite with the real estate stuff yet.
yeah
So I'm trying to figure out, maybe I can turn my YouTube series into like a TikTok series. Just figure out how to get people interactive on there.
yeah
But a lot of it's social media. A lot of it is the pizzeria I work at. I leave my cards there. I've been there for 4 years, so people know me really well.
yeah
And every time I see them, I'm like, hey, I forgot to mention I'm a real estate agent. That's why you don't see me here anymore.
yeah
And like, oh, okay, cool. So just, meeting new people, going to different places, just trying to get the word out. So
yeah.
that's
It's
what
definitely one of those things where it's going to pay off in the long run. Like I guarantee it.
it will. And you just have to have patience with this. It's not going to be, like I said earlier, it's not an easy payoff. It's not do work for a week and you get paid. It's you got to, work 40, 80 hours a week, just getting the work in. And in the end, it will pay off.
Yeah, and even like from my own standpoint, I was tutoring for free in the summer of COVID for 3 months, like 6 hours a week, tutoring for free just to get my name out there, just to get some
Mhm.
references. And I didn't see my first paycheck until like 4 or 5 months in. So I get it, like at least from that perspective.
Yeah, it takes a while. And that was good that you did it for free to get your name out, because some people, they try to charge right off the bat and it doesn't work for them.
Not only does it not work, it's I remember I was such an idiot. I was like, I'm gonna have this online class, and everyone's gonna sign up, and I'm gonna charge $10 a head, and I'll get 1,000 people to sign up for a class because it's around the country. And I was just so disillusioned. I was gonna be like, I'm gonna be a billionaire by the end of the summer. It was just so, oh man. In hindsight, I was a fool in terms of what I thought I could accomplish. But now that I actually like know what it takes, I think you brought up a great point where it's just like you need to love what you do. You cannot just do it for the money if you want to be super successful. It's just not
If
how
you
it works.
for the money, then you need an hourly job.
Yeah, yeah, that's
That's
so true.
that's how you got to put it. Because if you're trying to get into a career for at least a commission career or your own business or something, you're not going to start with money.
Yeah,
You're just not. That's not how, unless you are the luckiest person in the whole world and you just happen to have money falling into your lap. It's not how businesses start out. You
yeah,
start out spending the money to make the money.
yeah. And I think not only that, I think the message is also that the far majority of people are able to start a business, but it puts in it, it does take a tremendous amount of work to do it. And I think that's what scares off most people. But I truly believe deep down that everyone has the potential. Everyone has that thing that they're really good at. Everyone has something they're passionate about. And they're either afraid to do it, they're afraid to take risk, or they're not willing to put in the work. And I think one of those two things is why so many people are working at a desk job 40 hours a week, hating life, just working for a paycheck, and then coming home and playing video games or spending 5 hours on their phone. And that breaks
It
my heart.
You're exactly right. You're exactly right. It's people being afraid or people just not wanting to do the work. Like, you have to put a lot of work in if you're going to start your own business of any type. You can't just walk in and hope that the money falls in your lap. So you're right. I feel like people don't reach their potential because they don't want to.
Okay, my next question. You have a family, you have two kids. How are you able to juggle it all?
It's hard, especially with unreliable childcare. And my 2-year-old was home last week because of COVID scare at his daycare.
Hmm.
So it's definitely harder to juggle with two kids, but I have a great support system. I have my parents, I have my kid's father. Like, they are so helpful. They understand, I have to get up at whatever time and run out to go do a showing on a house. They understand that, you know, and my work too, like, they understand, my clients understand when I have to bring one of my kids with me to a showing. They're really like compassionate and able to be like, hey, like, how are you, to my kids. Like, uh, it's definitely takes a village to raise the kids. And with the help that I'm getting with them, that's helping me further my career. So it's a juggle, but it's worth it.
Do you ever become overly stressed? And what do you do? Like, how do you handle stress?
Oh, all the time. Terrible with stress. If sometimes I lash out, so that's terrible, but I'm working on it. A lot of times I'll just take like 10, 30 minutes to myself. So today I'm going to take my kids down to a creek and just play in the water with them and then go home and finish a couple hours of work. So just taking a mental break some days for, half an hour, or just sitting outside and doing work instead of sitting inside, the fresh air helps too.
Yeah. And then what advice do you have for people who are thinking about starting a family, like just in general?
Just make sure you're ready. Like, honestly, that's stupid advice, but it is advice. Like, just make sure you're ready. Make sure you know that it's not just all the smiles and everything that you see on social media. It's nights without sleep. Like I said, the night that I went to go test for my real estate license, my kids were up all night, all night. I got 2.5 hours of sleep. So you have to be prepared for those moments. You have to be prepared to have no sleep, even at the age of 2. Like, the kids don't sleep. So you have to be able to understand that it's not just the good things. There's also things you have to worry about with them. So if you're gonna start a family, you need to be prepared. And as stupid as this sounds, you'll never be prepared. So
No, I
um,
love it.
but like, you have to be prepared to not be prepared.
Yeah.
I guess would be the way to
Yeah.
say that.
It reminds me of like they say, like I'm also an engineer. Like I'm a tutor as like on the side primarily though. I'm an engineer. And like one thing that you always have to be careful of is being a perfectionist. Like if you try and spend like 10, 20 hours on like one little thing that really doesn't matter for the end consumer, then you're just wasting time.
Wasting time and stressing yourself out.
Yeah.
There's no perfect picture in a job, in a family. Everything's different. No two things are going to be the same. And especially with families, like, you don't know, every kid's different, every family dynamic's different. Everybody, some people have it a little easier, they might have help everywhere, some people might not have help at all. You have to be prepared for situations just as come up, and you just have to go with the flow, like not having childcare, or your job needs you to do something at night but you want to be with your kids, stuff like that. So just
Yeah.
being prepared for the unknown.
Yeah. And then I guess as a final question, there's a ton of people I tutor who are in high school right now, and I'm sure everyone in high school has no idea, really, they have not figured out life. You know what I mean? What advice do you have for kids who are either in high school right now or just coming out of high school?
Don't rush into anything. And if you're going to college, community college, start there. There's no reason for you to have thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars of debt because you feel better on a campus, a big, huge campus. Like, start with a community college if you're unsure, unless you are 100% sure that that's what you want to do. I just watched a video the other day or today on TikTok of a girl who went and got her degree in criminology and psychology, and she's a dog groomer. So now she has thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars in debt for a career that she didn't even feel passionate about. So if you're in high school, if you're coming out of high school, if you are 110% sure you know what you want to do and where you want to go for it. If you're not sure, it's okay, and start somewhere local. I didn't do the college thing. I went right to work. I'm a hands-on learner. I need to be in the space to learn, and that's okay too. I don't think there's any right way to leave high school.
And then on top of that, I completely agree with that, and I love that advice. Just as to share myself, I am currently $60,000 in student loan debt. Now, just out of curiosity, how much in debt are you, if at all?
So I went to school for 2 semesters. So in total with everything, school and car, about 20,000. So I follow Dave Ramsey,
I
which
love Dave
is
Ramsey.
I'm trying to get on his baby steps. So I am trying to get to baby step 1 and 2 and get my debt done by the end of the year.
Can you
That's
elaborate more on the baby steps?
Yeah. So step one, I mean, I only know the first couple because that's where I am, but step one is saving $1,000. Step two of the baby steps is paying off all your debt from the smallest to the largest and getting it done. After that, you're supposed to save for baby step three, 3 to 6 months worth of income. So basically, the steps are supposed to take you to a debt free journey where you can give like there's no other. So his honestly, if you're in high school, if you're in college, you need to look him up because he's going to save your life with money.
Yeah.
He helps people get, and they have crazy stories, follow them on Facebook, but he has helped families and individuals get out of hundreds of thousands of dollars of debt to a point where they now live a life where they can go on vacations and not have to worry about their bills. Their bills are paid ahead of time. So he's amazing, and the steps are definitely something to consider.
Yeah. Yeah. I love Dave Ramsey. And I would say, just on top of that, the baby step two specifically, get rid of all your debts. It definitely depends on the person. Like for instance, me, 60,000. I know there's people who are even worse off than me. Baby step two could easily take over 10 years to really do.
You follow his steps. You're supposed to go gazelle intense, which
So
means
you're saying
not
starting from like not like you're supposed to follow these steps not when you're already in debt. Is that right? Or
no,
is
you're
this
supposed to follow them in debt. So you are $60,000 in debt. So you would go save $1,000 for emergency purposes only.
Mhm.
That's your emergency fund. Then step two, you would take your smallest debt, whether it be a couple hundred, couple thousand, and start putting money towards that every week.
Mhm.
20 bucks, 30 bucks, whatever. And you don't eat out. You coupon, you do whatever you have to, no vacations, no fun
Yeah.
until you get your debt done. And people have been, I think one person said they were about $100,000 in debt, and they only made like 50,000 a year, and they paid off their debt in 2 years
Wow, that's crazy.
because it's picking up second jobs or side hustles. It's, cutting back on, if you go to Starbucks, that's $5 right there.
Yeah.
If you go, to Target, you spend $100. There's no reason for it. So it's cutting corners and cutting costs where you need to,
Yeah.
you know, doing your own oil change on your car, things like that. I just saw somebody, they're detailing their car because they didn't want to pay somebody to do it. So it's just, you can do it. You just have to put your mind to it. And it's a lot.
Yeah, that's so true. Yeah,
Awesome.
so thank you so much, Alyssa, for meeting with me today. I really appreciate it, and I know my audience will.
And I'm going to share this with all my real estate agents and see if they have any thoughts to add to it.
Oh yeah, feel free to just add on to it in the
Yep.
comments. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much.